Right. Welcome back to another episode of my movie review series, episode 206. Now, last week I said that it's going to come back with another superhero film, and it's going to be Batman and Robin. The Dark Knight and the Boy Wonder. They're going to save Commissioner Gordon's daughter from Mr. Freeze. Here it is, man. Batman and Mr. Freeze. SubZero. Yeah, Jack. This movie, Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero, 1998. Even though it was supposed to be in 97, but due to the poor reception that Batman and Robin got in 97, they had to push this movie back, and it came out in March of 98. But yeah, I tell you though, man, this movie, it's a sequel to Mask of the Phantasm, but it's a standalone sequel. So events of that movie does not follow. Events of this movie does not follow that one. Not at all. But it does follow. This is it's an addition to the animated series, though. It does follow the trilogy of the Mr. Freeze story arc that started in the animated series. The episode Heart of Ice, and then there was another episode called Deep Freeze. Both of them was based on the Mr. Freeze character, but it was the stories alone was the pretty much the Victor and Nora Freeze saga. Their tragic love story was pretty much the arc of the whole Mr. Freeze trilogy. And yeah, man, I tell you, I can't really describe it as well as the this gentleman that made the a very special video about the Mr. Freeze trilogy. And if I can find that, I will link that down in the description. But yeah, man, this is indeed an addition to the whole thing. And this is the movie that this is the story that ended the entire trilogy. So this movie, though, Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero, yeah, it's a Batman movie, but it's a Mr. Freeze story. So yeah, of course you're gonna have to put both of them in the character and make it top billing. Yeah, Batman, Mr. Freeze, SubZero. Yeah, I tell you though, man, yeah, as the story goes, Mr. Freeze, he's trying to find the cure for his wife's ailment. They don't say what the ailment is, but it's very life-threatening, and she's in a cryostasis. She's frozen alive, basically. Yeah, she's in a cryostasis, and Freeze got her well preserved in this tank filled with water, and she's just in hibernation, just sleeping there, hibernation. But yeah, he keeps her company. And yeah, they're in the frozen Arctic, and these um these explorers, I guess, this submarine, it crashes into where Mr. Freeze's hideout is at, and everything is broken into. So everything broken into the Nora's cryostasis has been shattered, and now her life is in huge danger. But the only way that she can be saved is by an organ transplant. But unfortunately, there are no deceased donors that match her and that match hers. She has a very rare blood type, and so they gotta find somebody who is the same height, the same blood type, and of course female. But there aren't any deceased ones that match. So Freeze he used another suggestion in getting a live donor. Yeah, so he pretty much kidnapped his old colleague, Dr. Gregory Belson. Yeah, this guy with the way he was drawn, this guy with icy eyes, these icy blue eyes, and the way that he was drawn in the movie, they put him in shadow, you get to see those icy eyes, it's a real creepy look for him, I tell you, man. So yeah, man, this movie though, yeah, he gets Belson to help him with this plan, and the only person that they have found, it was the perfect candidate, Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter, aka Batgirl. So when she and her boyfriend Dick Grayson, aka Robin, they're out on a dinner date, Freeze and his two huge giant polar bears, they break into the restaurant, and Freeze attempt to kidnap Barbara. But Dick Grayson, man, he goes into Robin mode, and he just puts up a pretty good fight against Freeze. Now, he can't really give everything away because, he's only Dick Grayson, he's not Robin, Yeah, he don't got the mask, he don't got the cape, he don't got the weapons on him. But hey, he improvised though, he improvised, man. He did, he tried, he stood his ground, and, he tried to hold him off, but then, don't forget, you still got two big polar bears, and Barbara is also in danger. So he's trying to contend against a polar bear. He's trying to contend against Freeze, and he's trying to keep his girlfriend safe. But yeah, the numbers game. The numbers game always adds up. So yeah, Freeze, he makes his escape. Frees up the chandelier. Sucker falls down, almost killed Dick, but the boy, he rolled out the way very quickly. So yeah, he says yeah, he went on the chase. And I gotta tell you something about this movie though. The animation in this movie, even though it is 2D animation, it is drawn and animated on it's drawn on paper and it's animated on screen. Even though it is 2D animation, they gave us some real good top-notch computer animation, but it's not, it's not fake CGI. It is very, very awesome graphic stuff. I mean, very state of the art. I mean, I remember the trailer of this movie. They say, yeah, Batman animation like you never seen before. And yeah, the animation in this movie, it was like I never seen before. I mean, you can tell, in certain shots, especially in the chase scene between, Freeze is getting away and Dick is on the is on his motorcycle, and he's giving and he's just chasing him down. You know, you could tell, the truck and the cars on the road, the road itself, you can tell it is computer animated, but it's still in 2D. It's still in 2D mode. That's just like it's it's still very amazing to watch. It still holds up. And this is back in 98, and still holds up today. Over 25 years later, Jack. I mean, yeah, real good stuff. The animation in this movie, yeah, they were right, like you never seen before, and it was hot. This movie is just hot. So yeah, when once Commissioner Gordon finds out about this, he is firing on all cylinders, giving orders to all of his to the pretty much the entire precinct, every single cop that's on the case right now. He's giving orders to each and every single one of them. And he's just firing on all cylinders because his daughter, his only child, is in danger. She's been kidnapped by a deadly criminal. So yeah, he wanted his daughter found, and he want her found now. So this, yeah, it's just seeing it's just seeing a desperate father, an angry father, at work, and this guy, he just happened to be commissioner of the Gotham City Police Department, yeah, just seeing him at work, seeing Commissioner Gordon like we never seen Commissioner Gordon before, you know, at that time anyway. But yeah, we get to see Batman in a real good detective story, the great detective at work, so yeah. So yeah, once Batman and Robin, once they're starting to break down the case on where to find Barbara, you know, they find out, yeah, she was called for a blood transfusion, but that wasn't the case at all. What what Freeze and Belson, what they kidnapped her for was the organ transplant. And once Batman and Robin found out about it, it was almost at the last minute because they were about to fire up the Batwing, and Alfred, he stopped them and he told them, he was reading the files and he told them that there were that she was um Nora Freeze, she was set up for an organ transplant, but it was a medical term that was used for that. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, Batman, he knew about it. So yeah, yeah, Robin asked, what that is, Batman, he said, it's a medical term for organ transplant, you know, and Alfred, I think you better hurry. So yeah, they went to yeah, once they found out where Freeze was, they went into action. They went into action, and by the time we got to the action, you know, Barbara, she tried everything that she can to escape this whole thing, but then she found out where she was, and yeah, it's very highly unlikely that she's going to escape scot free. But then she still got two polar bears to to deal with, and she got Mr. Freeze to deal with, and she got this creepy looking doctor to deal with. So yeah, Batman and Robin, they got there on time, but then they got two polar bears to deal with. Yeah, yeah. Now the place where she was being held, that place is catching on fire because it's a giant oil derrick. Yeah, once you start heating up oil, you're going to get a fire. And since this is a giant oil derrick, not only is it going to be a huge fire, but it's going to be a big inferno. So yeah, I tell you, man. Now you got two polar bears to deal with. Now you got Mr. Freeze to deal with. Now you got this huge inferno that you were surrounded in. So yeah, by the time we just get through this whole thing, you start to see a shift in this story. You know, Freeze, he's starting to all of this is for the love of his wife. All this is for the safety of his wife. And you Freeze, it's not a redemption, but he has to help Batman now. you know, he has to help Batman now, but it's just to save his wife. So yeah, Freeze using his gun to put out the fire so Batman and Barbara, she knows where Nora is at, so Batman and Barbara can go down those stairs and go into the room and go and get her. But then you got this huge blazing inferno going down, and Freeze, he's injured. He got a broken leg, so he going to so yeah, he has to be helped now. So yeah, it's a huge shift in change in the entire the entire the entire story, man. It's just real good stuff, though. It's 100% well written. You know, Boyd Kirkland also directed the movie, and Randy Rogo. They did a very, very amazing job with this movie. But yeah, I tell you, man. You know, now the part in this movie where Batman got Nora in his arms, and he's telling Freeze that we got to go. Yeah, Freeze, yeah, take care of her first. You can come back for me. I mean, he cannot face the man that is pretty much his enemy, because his enemy is pretty much helping him. It's very symbolic. Very symbolic, very soap opera. It's very operatic. Period. Batman's the whole Batman saga is in one huge opera. It's one huge tragic opera. But yeah, this is a tragic story. Like I said earlier, this is a tragic love story between Victor and Nora, because Victor, he's doing everything he can to save his wife from dying. So yeah, but yeah, once once they get her to safety, Batman, he got to go back and get Freeze now. Yeah, if I'm not back in time, go without me. Yeah, so yeah, the stakes has been raised. It's just it just builds and builds and builds the stakes. It just builds and builds and builds. It just gets higher and higher, just like this huge inferno that they are now surrounded in. So yeah, I tell you, man. Once Batman, he gets back to trying to save Freeze. Freeze. He got the Batman. He shoot a line at him. Yeah, Freeze grabs it, he swings, and but the kissing, the bowl, and the casing of that holds in the coolant that keeps him alive. He hits the wall, it shatters. Now he's in danger here. So yeah, Batman, he got the his grappler. He got that. He's trying to pull him up, but a piece of shrapnel, a piece of debris. Everything is falling apart. Everything is burning up. Everything is falling apart, and then one hits him right in his shoulder, and he loses his grappler. Freeze falls. We don't know if he survived on that. He falls. He hits the water because they're out 5 miles from the city in the middle of the ocean. So yeah, Freeze hits the water, but we don't know if he survived or not. Apparently, he did survive. Batman, he goes back into the Batwing. They fly off. Everything is everything. Nora, she's safe. We find out that Nora, she she got her operation from another person. She got her operation. She is safe and sound. She's alive. Freeze, he's alive. He finds out. He and the two polar bears. He's alive. He overhears the news report. He's outside. There's two guys inside this cabin, and they're listening to the news report. Freeze is outside at the window. He listens in. He hears that his wife is okay. She's okay. She will live a full life, a great life, and Freeze was declared dead in the huge inferno. So yeah, even though the news report said that he may never, it's a shame that he will not live to know about what happened to his wife. Apparently, he did live to know about it. You know, yeah, for a man that is dead to emotions. He cried tears of joy. Yeah, yeah, with his broken leg cast into a huge ice cast. He limps away. You know, with the two polar bears walking with him. And that's freezing sub-zero temperature. But I tell you though, man, yeah, this movie though, yeah, it's the tragic, like I said, the tragic love story between Victor and Nora Freeze. And yeah, the third entry, the third and final entry of the Mr. Freeze trilogy. Even though Freeze did come back in the new Batman Adventures, he did come back, but it has nothing to do with the Mr. Freeze trilogy and the animated series. But yeah, he did come back in one appearance in the new Batman Adventures, and then he came back again in one episode of Batman Beyond, which was complete fan service because they did not really do anything with him. They just put him in just to put over the new villain in that show. So yeah, they dropped out Mr. Freeze to put over the new villain in that show. That's the reason why they had him come back, for that one last time, just that fan service. But with Heart of Ice, with Deep Freeze, and with SubZero, this is the true story arc of the whole Mr. Freeze trilogy. The true story arc of the whole tragic love story between Victor and Nora Freeze. I mean, one of the most emotional characters, one of the most emotional stories, one of the most tragic stories that have been put together for the that Paul Dini and Bruce Timm put together in the animated series. This is the great conclusion to it. This movie is just a straight 5 out of 5, though. This movie right here. I mean, what Dini and Tim did with Mr. Freeze, they completely revamped his entire origin. And that's a 5 out of 5 alone. That's a straight 10 out of 10 alone. So yeah, what they did with Freeze and how they just complied, I just put it all together and concluded with this movie. Straight, yeah, it's just perfect. It's perfect. You cannot really duplicate this. You cannot imitate it. Just one of those rare, precious gems, the lightning in the bottle, you know? Something that will never, ever happen again. But you got it right here. And you can see it more than one time if you have the DC Universe app. So yeah, man, I tell you, yeah. That's my review, Jack, and I'm sticking to it. Now, next week, man, oh boy, next week we're going to get into something that is very, very unique. I mean, the style that was put together for this next movie I'm going to do next week, man. I mean, you got like live action, but you got CG effects mixed with the live action. And it's all based off of a manga series. Go get them, number 99. So yeah, man, check out my other shit right here and subscribe to me right here. But in the meantime, in between time, Jack, this show is off.